Okay. I threw it on a smaller resolution, so hopefully there's enough space to record the whole thing. I don't know how the sound's going to be, but
It'll be what it'll be.
exactly, right?
Have you already started? Not yet.
Yeah, it started.
Okay.
We can restart it.
Waiting for
Whatever.
Why don't we start? Okay. Thank you, Toastmasters, and to remain seated all through the session. And with this, we would like to adjourn for the day. My apology, but one thing before I forget, let me acknowledge what the perfect fools we were today. Okay, unlike every other meeting, we will not be giving chance to the guests today, and we will not take any feedback from them. That means is we are not interested in knowing how well they felt today in today's session. Fortunately, we didn't have any guests also. So what an impossible day it was. I just want to acknowledge the way we had the whole session. Thanks that we, in spite of being one of the intelligent members in the intelligent group, we had a hard time to see how to take the session on the Fool's Day. Our president has taken the sabbatical for the day, so just trying to figure out how we'll do that. And based on what we performed, I'm taking the feedback so that in the next officers meeting, we will be contemplating if we want to change the name from Intelligent Speakers Club to the Fool Speaker Club. And thanks for your all the support. With this, I would like to actually call one of our dumbest and the wackiest weirdo we have in the club. Richard, will be the Toastmaster today.
So this has been a wonderful meeting. As defining a perfect day, I think you guys all did a great job. Let's bring up our table topics master to choose the table topics winner for today. Varuna.
So it's been a very awesome meeting today, and everyone spoke well for the table topics, but however, we need to choose some fool to be the fool speaker of today. So let's let's have congratulations. You have won Cheese of the Month subscription for the entire year.
Okay, today April 1st. I got this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and with that, I think it's time to bring out the general evaluator and call for his reports and stuff. So, Leo?
Thank you. Wow, what a meeting. So, I have been enjoying such a hilarious meeting for the whole time. So, I would like to give a general evaluation of the meeting, then call the helpers to report. So first, it's really something new. It's a totally innovative, creative format. So really enjoy that. Thanks for the tabletop master, and she has a new format as well. So, and look at the table topic speakers. You guys speak on such a funny topic, and I really enjoyed it. So secondly, I think the meeting proceeds very smoothly, even though we are doing something totally different. We are doing something totally backwards. Yeah, but we start on time and end on time and proceeds smoothly. And the third one, I really enjoyed the topic chosen by the speaker today, student loan. Maybe some of us don't have a student loan, and we are fortunate. And maybe that's because we didn't go to college here in America. Like say, I went to college in China when it was free college education, no kidding. But for students here, actually 60% of students here get student loans. So there was a saying, why did you go to college? You go to college, get a student loan, and study hard so that you can go out and find a good job. Then pay off your student loan. And when everybody have good memories of college, and we hold that, cherish that memory for a long time, and that's also something we hold as long time. So people would say, may your college memory last as long as your student loan payment. So that's the reality of student loan. And Ramesh has good discussions on the topic, so we got new knowledge today. So thanks for the speaker, for the tabletop master, and thanks for the Toastmaster for an creative and fun meeting. Now I would like to call Alphas to report. First timer, please report timing.
All right, so it was a great meeting. The first time evaluation for the speech. Ramesh gave a good speech on the student loan. He went on for 2 hours and 2 minutes. Good work on that. For table topics, we had 4 people speaking today on table topics. The first one, sorry, I don't know the names yet. But the first one, this gentleman, he spoke for 3 hours, and he spoke for only 30 seconds. He didn't know what more to say.
That's why I got it.
That's why I got it. And this guy, he spoke for a week. We have been hearing him for a week.
It just felt like that.
Yeah. And for the evaluation, so Leo gave a good evaluation. He was in time. He spoke perfectly for 5 minutes. And he was general evaluator, the evaluator for the speech. He spoke for 10 seconds. So that's all for the comments.
Thank you, Shirpa. Now we have our op counter, Kevin.
Hello, I'm going to give an evaluation of the all counter. Everybody did over 40 today, but then I got a text message from the Toastmaster saying that we're going to eliminate all filler words so you can integrate them into your speeches. So everybody got 0 today, so thank you, everybody.
That's great. Usually I have a lot of ops.
Today you're fine.
It's a good day. It's a good day for all of us. All right, Gromanian, the text, please.
Thank you.
You can
as
take
usual-
this.
Yeah, I'm very close on here. So unfortunately, like every other session, today also our table topics master didn't introduce the members, didn't wrote the notes about it. So if I don't know, I know we got from Joe, Shankar. Sorry, I don't know you.
I'm also Joe.
You're also Joe? Okay, Joe too. You don't mind. And Kelly. But none of you used the word actually. The word was so simple. It was fantabulously, foolishly I am. None of you used the word of the day. I'm so surprised. I think why are we called the intelligent club's name? We don't even use the grammar right. I was so disappointed today. Starting with Joe, Joe 1. What in the world were you thinking when you were actually, you just forgot all the punctuation, the pauses? instead of saying I came, I saw, and I conquered, you should have said I space came, I space saw, I space conquered, exclamation. What are you thinking in the world? I'm completely flattered by that. Joe too, you just followed him. You missed again all the pauses and exclamations. On top of that, instead of saying I acted like a fool and embarrassed my folks, I think you should be saying I was, am, and will remain fool, and will keep embarrassing and not even miss a single chance to embarrass other folks. But on that, Shankar did a good job. I think he just inspired me to become the life teacher for a grammar school. Probably I have to join and start teaching people. Repeated all of your mistakes. On top of that, I think when he meant about since and because, I would have to remind that since that refers to time and cause refers to some causation. So when you said, since I quit drinking, I have married and had one child, you should have said, because I quit drinking, I had to marry as I didn't know what to do with time. And since then, I have had one children.
Still related.
I think I was expecting some good things from it. The last one, actually, Kelly. The thing is, you just added on top of that. You lost the sense of the time. I mean, you started in the past, just continued even today, and you're ready to go again, on and on. I mean, you're breaking his record of a week, and you're just losing the whole sense of time. And I would say you should better start chatting instead of speaking. I know what you said. You said AGM kiss A3. I was just thinking, who's kiss and who's AGM, who's A3? And then I realized probably what you meant was, at the moment, keep it simple, stupid, anytime, anywhere, and any place. Thank you.
That's the best grammar evaluation.
Yeah.
I need to use the word. So on April 1st, force rush in to our Toastmaster meetings. Still, we have wise men remain on the day. All right, great. Thanks, Alphas. Okay, great evaluation. Now I'd like to return the podium back to Toastmaster.
Okay, so I actually forgot to talk about what Leo thinks a perfect day is, because I mean that is our theme for today. And Leo said last Sunday, our family went to Visona Park. This is actually serious. We biked for several miles from the park down to Los Gatos Creek. We had cold drinks and ice cream at the train station, relaxed in the park. After the park, we strolled along Los Gatos downtown and had an early dinner in a Japanese restaurant there. They walked down the street with a full stomach, bumped into a dessert cafe, and got homemade gelato. They came home early and went to bed early, and for Leo, that's a perfect day. I think that's great. Okay, so moving right along, we actually, Leo, you forgot to do something. Oh, you forgot to call up Joe to do an evaluation on Ramesh's speech.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry. Should we do that?
Yeah, Joe, why don't you come on up?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and current acting vice president of the club. Ramesh, you provided very good information. Your presentation was clear and was very readable. I'm sitting over there and I had no problem reading the screen. One thing I noticed that you and a lot of other clubs sometimes have a problem with is being heard clearly. People tend to talk a little soft, so one thing you can do is actually try vocal projection. You kind of imagine someone like Joe, or I don't know her name either, in the back of the room, and you aim your voice right at them. If you really still can't be heard, you can do something really, really crazy. Imagine that there's guys in the EMC building, and you want to speak. Imagine there's guys in the EMC building, and you want them to hear you. That's another trick, and I just actually did that. Sheila had an interesting thing where we were talking, where if you're like really nervous, you can take in a deep breath, hold it in, and breathe out. And that sometimes calms the nerve, the fight or flight response, some people say. Some crazier thing I've read is you can eat a banana before you do a presentation. That also calms it down. I actually mentioned that to Ramesh, so when I saw results of him eating the banana before doing his speech. Another approach is adopting this alter ego. So you're doing some acting, so the fight or flight response is a lot less. In my case, right now, I'm trying to do Captain Ass Kicker. I came as son of a cookie! But enough about that. There's some things I liked about your speech. One of the best parts was you mentioning you entering that loan company, and you saw this guy who was like really shady. He had this fake sword behind him, and he claimed he was the Lord of the Thundercats. And you just felt someone's off, and you ran. And I admit I was kind of a bad boy, and I was like Googling that company's name, and the results came up, and this guy was actually accused of being in the mafia. So it looks like you were showing yourself exercising very good judgment, and it looks like you avoided a really sticky situation. But overall, recently I've been seeing you becoming more confident. It's real. It's especially during in the speech contest. You've been more confident, and a lot of people have been seeing it. And one of my favorite parts is you always end your speeches with, "There's only one difference between good and God."
Okay, so one of the things I did some stuff on perfect day references. So I looked for perfect day songs, and it turns out that a 1960s rocker named Lou Reed, who wrote the song "Take a Walk on the Wild Side," did a song called "Perfect Day," which was covered by the 80s band Duran Duran, who did "Hungry Like a Wolf" and "Rio" and all that stuff. If those of you who are actually old enough and have heard of people other than Britney Spears and Taylor Swift. And Susan Boyle from Britain Got Talent also said that. And for those of you who have small children, I'm sure you've heard the Disney Frozen song that came along with, Cinderella, Make Today the Perfect Day. That was another song reference that just came out, so another perfect day reference. There was on TV, there was a PBS cooking show called Perfect Day. The medical show ER had an episode called Perfect Day. The Food Network, the Barefoot Contessa, she had a Perfect Day episode. And there actually was a trilogy on UK television called The Perfect Day. And the first one was so good that they did another one called Millennium, and then they did a third one called The Perfect Day, The Funeral. That's no joke. The Perfect Day, The Funeral. And with that, I think I'm going to bring up our table topic master, Karuna.
Now that we have got to the enumeration session of our table topics, I've gone to distribute our flyers to everyone.
So why don't you talk about the topic and have Edward just pass those around.
Okay. So, the topic, there is no topic today. It's more of what you could be or what you can dream of. There are many different things that you can dream of. So there are many things that were written in each one of those. So whoever comes in to speak will be taking out one clip from the whole box. We'll read it out. Whatever is in this, they're going to find, they're going to go to that spot, find the question out there and speak about it.
So the list 20.
So this is like a treasure hunt. So you have a bunch of questions on all your flyers. None of them are the same, so they are not in the same sequence. But you have the numbers in here.
Oh, okay. So how do we choose the people to go to?
It says, it's in this.
Pick a number.
We have a full-person.
We don't.
So, okay. Everyone's ready? Let's see who can become the. I call upon.
Me?
Yeah, Shiva. It's question 16 from Grammarian.
Thank you for the question. You were sound asleep yesterday night. I hope so. But woke up sleep tight in a wine glass.
18.
How will you get out of it?
You have to realize that each of these sheets is different, so look
No,
at your sheet.
No, it's the same
Oh, okay.
She got the same one.
Okay. All right, how will you get out of it? First of all, the first phrase, you were sound asleep yesterday night, doesn't hold true. Because I have an 11-month-old baby who gets up every 2 hours. So sound sleep is far away. But anyhow, let's assume I was sleeping, I was having a sound sleep. And I'm sealed tight. I would first try to see who is around me from inside the glass and try to shout to take the lid off, if there is a lid on the glass. I don't know if there is a lid or not. Otherwise, I'll try to reach the brim of the glass and try to peek out and try to toss the glass around so that it can break or I can come out of it. So if none of that works, I will slap myself so that I can wake up and assume that it was a dream.
Thank you. That was good of imagination. That's what you're looking for today. Okay, next I call upon Joe 2.
Joe 2? You sure you don't want Joe 1?
He's coming. Watch out, Joe. Question 5 from Arthur.
Question 5. You woke up this morning and realized there is no social media anymore. How would you react?
I would do a dance. I would do a happy dance. Actually, I feel bad for all the people who work for LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter because they'd be jobless now, and that's very sad. But on a personal level, I'd be very pleased. But I'd wonder what people would do with their time. I mean, you wonder all the time people spend on social media all throughout the day. What will they be using their cell phones for? What will they be doing when they're pretending to work? That's the question. So I would expect that creativity would skyrocket, that productivity would be through the roof. We'd all get our jobs done faster and more efficiently. Our relationships would improve. Strangers would become strangers again, and friends would be people that you saw in person, that you drank with, that you went to a restaurant with. All in all, the world would be like the world of 10 years ago. A better, gentler place.
That's nice. Thank you, Joe. I'm gonna call on Leslie.
So my question is, what's this?
So, this is
Six chair.
question 3 from right-hand side, 6th chair.
Yeah, question 3.
Question 3. What if you are a farmer growing computer chip in your field? How will you sell them?
If I was a farmer growing computer chips, how would I sell them? Working at Intel, I would actually have Intel as my #1 customer. once I harvest all my computer chips, I will talk to BK, get him in the meeting, try to schedule a one-on-one with him, get some of my samples and products, make it look nice and shiny, create an elevator pitch to try to sell. I have abundance of this. We can make a lot more money. We can get your stocks over $40 per share. We can hire more people. We can give more bonuses to people and help everybody and their family out. And if you don't want to take my plan, there's also other competitors. But I want to give you the first opportunity and to make my pitch and to have you the first opportunity to buy all my crops. And we'll just wait for the next season. Thank you.
Look at the smartness rising from the food. So next I would like to call upon Shankar. Watch out.
8. Question 8.
Question 8 from your friend, second from right. Question 8 from your friend, from to your right, second from the right.
Hitesh.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Imagine you went to pay taxes.
Okay.
IRS told they owe you $1 million. They owe you.
Yeah,
They owe you $1 million,
Okay.
but can only pay you interest every month. What will you do? Let me repeat. Imagine you went to pay taxes, and IRS told you they owe you $1 million, but can only pay you interest every month. What will you do?
I'm very happy. So, if I get $1 million one shot, I have a lot of plans. I won't explain those. So, but interest, yeah. So, if I get interest, I think I will enjoy my life. I have a lot of list of dreams in my life, which I can share with you. I cannot share with you. But yeah, maybe I will roam across the globe, like east and west, south, north, total US, and I'll go to India. I'll enjoy like anything. I'll roam over. Traveling is my passion. I want to see all cultures across the globe, and I want to see different people interaction. So that is me. Yeah.
Thank you, Shankar. Do you have time for one more?
No, I think that's probably.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, and now I hand it over back to our Toastmaster.
Now, next up is our speaker for today. Now, Ramesh described for me the perfect day, and it involved lots of physical activity. He said he especially likes the base jump. And this is parachuting from a fixed structure or cliff. And he keeps trying to convince the facility staff here to let them do it from the top of this building, but for some reason, they keep turning him down. So with that, let's give a really big hand to Ramesh. He's going to be talking, he's doing his 8th speech, which is on student loans, and it's on getting comfortable. The project is getting comfortable with visual aids. Student loans, Ramesh.
Dear Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, how many you have kids? Please raise your hand. Kids. Yeah. How many you have kids that are going to school, college in next 2 years?
What about in college now?
In college now, or yeah. This is a very important topic, and which is more dangerous than World War also. The whole purpose is to get an idea of how student loans work. Here the tagline is pay forever. We don't know, because when you are in college, you will get the student loan and keep paying for the student loan. See, when she is getting graduated, she is thinking, how is my future? Then will I be able to pay the student loan? At the same time, she is thinking about the future as well as about her payment regarding the student loan. I am very fortunate because my father took care of my student loan. Because in India, father has to take care of their kids forever until they settle in their life, or if she is a girl, until she get married and settle her life and set up her family. If it's a boy, forever until he settles, he gets a job. If he settles in his life only, father has to take care of their kids. But I am not that fortunate to take care of my kids' student loan because recently I got laid off. Yeah, these are the facts about the current student debt. There is a 1 trillion college debt. That means that the most of the debt in this country is in the forms of the student loans. The second one is student loan measure at 6% of overall national debt. If national debt is 100%, the student loan is around 6%. And 2/3 of the students graduating from America colleges and universities are graduating with some level of debt. The students who are graduating from the schools, not only graduating from the schools with the education, but also with some level of debt. So let's see what is the average loan for each student. It's around 26,600. So if including all the interest and 10 years payback plan, it will comes around 40K. That is the loan they have to pay when they came out of the college. So here is a graph over a past decade that is showing how student loan is getting increased. It started with 0, now it reached with 1.2 trillion. See, in private there are two types of colleges. Private colleges and universities you can go. The private colleges, the student college cost is around 31K, and in the public colleges the cost is around 9K. Out of state residents is around 22,958, and on top of it you need to pay housing as well as the meals or the extra, and the cost of the room and board expenses comes around 9,804, and on top of it they need to pay for books, school supplies, transportation, food and personal expenses. So there are two different types of student loans they can take. One is subsidized federal loans. So it's better to take the federal loans because if the interest rate is very lower when compared to the private loans, it's always and much lower than that of the credit card. The private loans interest is very high when compared to the federal loans. And the second advantage is you don't need a credit check for the student as well as the co-signer for them to get the federal student loans. That is one of the top advantages. If you enter into USA newly, so this will help them very much because they don't have any credit history at that point of time. And you don't have to begin the federal student loans until after you leave the college or drop below of time. So you don't need to make any payment to your student loans until you finish your studies. If you demonstrate financial need, you can qualify to have the government pay your interest while you are in school. So, for example, some parents will get laid off, or unfortunately, some parent may die or something like that. They may not able to pay. So at that point of time, they can inform the federal government and get some discount on the interest. Federal loans, so they have so many repayment plans, and so if you are in trouble in making the payments, you can check with the federal student loans department and get some repayment plans and options to postpone this in case of unfortunate events, so they can request for the loan repayments. So other loans are private loans. The advantage with the private loans is it's easy to get, but there are a lot of terms and conditions will be there. They are very costly interest rate. You need to go through all the terms and conditions. So this is the main point. We should understand all of the terms and conditions before you commit to anything, because it's easy to get, but you have to make sure that you go through all the conditions. So how we can plan for the student loans? So there is a 529 plan where you can use to save the money for the student's future. So disadvantages with the 529 plan is, so you have to use that money from the 529 plan only for the study purposes. If something happens, you cannot use that money for any other purposes. So other option is you can take lifetime insurance policy with cash back. So advantages of with this is you can withdraw the cash for any purpose, and you can use it for the studies also. The disadvantage of the lifetime policy is premiums are very high. If the insurance companies goes out of business, you are losing the entire money. So how to reduce the student loans? The student can attend the community college for the first 2 years, then transfer to a UC college, so that you can reduce the half of your student loan. And here you have to plan the career very well, because you have to think about what career you want to choose, either engineering or medicine, so that you can take the more AP classes in the high school, and you can reduce the student loan by half. And you can apply for the scholarship, both merit and the need-based scholarships. And so credit card companies always target the student because the bad habits are there. They tend to spend more money in the college itself. So you should be careful with that. And there are in some other countries where the education is cheaper, you can send your kids to there for their education. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. Very interesting. I am luckily in a situation where my last kid is in college, and I will be very happy when she's done in 2 years. So, save now. Okay, so this is great. Let's move on to introducing the general evaluator for our meeting, so he can talk about the meeting. This is Leo.
As we all understand, Toastmasters meetings basically have 2 parts. So one is making the speech, is the main speech, a table topic. Another part is the evaluation. So we have a great team today to help us to evaluate speakers and to help them improve. I'd like to introduce our art counter today, Kelly.
Hello everybody, I'm the art counter today. I will be counting all your ahs, ums, any filler words that you may use or that are unnecessary for speeches. I'm gonna be real strict on you guys today, so be good. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly. Next, we have our Grammy. Grammarian and Ritesh.
Hello everybody, I am the grammarian of the day. I will be looking into the grammar of all the speakers, and for all the table topics speech also. The word of the day today is fantabulously, stupendously, foolish I am.
Thanks, Ritesh. Lastly, we have our timer. It's important to keep our speech within the time limit, and the Sherpa will tell us the rule.
So today I'm going to be keeping a tab on the time. The speeches will be evaluated for. I'll show a green sign when you're 5 minutes into it, yellow when you're 6, and a red when you're at 7-minute mark. And for the table topics, it's going to be 1 minute for the green, 1.5 minutes yellow, and 2 minutes for the red. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Now I'd like to return the podium to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Leo. Well, today's meeting is going to be a perfect day. So for me, a perfect day involves a lot of sleep. And the last time I was able to do it, I went to sleep on March 1st, 1989, and I woke up on April Fool's Day. I felt incredibly rested. The rest of this meeting is going to be run backwards, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a good time. I wasn't originally supposed to be Toastmaster, but, you know, we rise to the occasion. So I'd like to thank everybody, but first I'd like to turn control back over to our VP of Education to start off our meeting. Yeah.
Welcome Toastmasters to the today's session. It's a perfect day, and I'm sure even though we are part of the intelligent members, we will make fools out of us. And that's a challenge, but I'm sure we can do it. We all have a silly corner inside us. I think so. We have a funny bone inside us. And probably that's what we are. I mean, we are the most serious and the dumbest person in the world. But just to avoid any embarrassment, we try to take out those little bit of geniuses we have inside us. So today is the day when I expect all of you to be as foolish, as silly as possible, and do a good job out of it. I would say let's forget that common sense and be the true self, what you are, the silliest guy in the world. With that, we are close to the time, but we have some time, and I would like to invite Richard to share what we have from the officers meeting to share with the club.
Okay.
And you have time.
That's fine. I was not expecting this. I thought we were going to do it next week. This is actually serious, and it's really what I wanted. One of the things that the officers at our last officers meeting were talking about was how do all of us get the best and the most out of Toastmasters? Toastmasters is about is a great opportunity. It's fun. Today was obviously an unusual meeting. At the same time, what you get out of Toastmasters corresponds directly to what you put into Toastmasters. So if you come in here just hoping that you're going to hang out and have a good time, that's great. But if you take this as the opportunity as it is, you can see great growth. When I first met Ramesh, I'm sorry, my brain is fried. At the beginning of this club, he was a very shy guy. And the idea of him getting up and talking and doing 8 speeches, I would have never, ever imagined that he'd be able to do it. And he has rose to the challenge, and I think that's great. But it means all of us to be better. We have to understand that Toastmasters provides this opportunity. And if you look at the book, at your Competent Communicators book, and actually look at the projects, you'll see that there's lots of great advice, and each project is designed to make you a better speaker. Especially as you move on to the higher speeches, like what Ramesh did. He did number 8, where it was about using visual aids. And a lot of us don't get that opportunity. The other thing that Toastmasters gives you is an opportunity to try out roles in a safe manner. For example, you want to get a little more experience doing project management and just leading stuff? Be a Toastmaster. Now it's your responsibility to make sure the meeting that's coming up goes smoothly. It's your opportunity. And nobody's going to yell at you if you do it wrong, but it's your opportunity to run with it. An evaluator, make sure that you go through and read what the person you're evaluating's speech is, what the project is supposed to do, so that you actually can help that speaker be the best speaker he can. And because at the end of each speech, at the end of each section, there's a description of the things that you were supposed to get out of it and what you're supposed to be evaluated on. When we just come in here and do the evaluation without looking at it, they get some evaluation out of it, but are they getting the most? Again, part of that is just taking advantage of the tools that Toastmaster has given us. So think about Toastmasters as that opportunity to experiment and to try out different things, different roles. God, our timing is impeccable. Just, it's a Petri dish. Experiment. Please, everybody, give it a shot. I know that I've had a great time being able to try out different things. So here's your opportunity. Please, everyone, run with it. Thank you.